Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Today I have a mind-blowing upload to share with you, and I know I say that quite often, but my mind gets blown pretty easily. Just kidding. Anyway, before we get into all that, a couple links. As you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, and the merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. Links to Patreon and PayPal are in the description below. The merch is displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeff Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, links to which are also in the description as well. Finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support this channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe. It does not cost you a cent. Click the like button, takes half a second. If you don't want to miss out on any of the informative uploads I put out daily, click that bell icon, and folks, please leave a comment. These things really do help this channel, honestly. Anyway, I am super excited with this upload. I'm messing the intro up. Let's get into it, shall we? Okay, first thing I want to share with you today is proof that the government knows 100% cryptids, Dogman, Bigfoot, crawlers, other exist. Washington State has on the books you can't hunt a Bigfoot. It's on the books. Why would they waste money? Oklahoma now has a Bigfoot hunting season. New York State has a anti-Bigfoot hunting law. And now, if you go to the United States Department of the Interior, Bureau of Land Management.gov or BLM.gov, Cryptids of North America is actually on their website. It's not a joke like the CDC and the zombie apocalypse. This is an actual information thing. I'm going to share it with you. Cryptids of North America. I'll show it to you really quick. Hang on one second. So there you can see the website, Bureau of Land Management, BLM.gov. Okay. October 29th, 2020. This General Land Office record of the week showcases the mysterious realm of North American cryptids in a collaborative effort by the ROTW team. Step inside if you dare. The word cryptid refers to a creature that is believed to exist without significant proof. This term has been widely used since around the early 80s, but sightings and claims of the unnatural have haunted the globe for centuries. This ROTW focuses on some favorite cryptids you might find lurking in the forests and waters of North America, maybe even on Bureau of Land Management land. Read more. But the GLO website provides live access to federal land conveyances records for the public land states, including image access to more than 12 million federal land titled records between 1788 and present. The site also hosts images of survey plat and field notes, land status records, control document index, and is the most visited website in the Department of the Interior. Visit glorcords.blm.gov for more information. But we'll click on that and see what this has. All right, Cryptids of North America Glow Record, the week of October 25th, 2020. The General Land Office of Record of the week showcases a mysterious realm of pretty much what the Mogollon or Mogollon of Arizona, Mogollon Rim of Arizona. Tells us a little bit, and then there's some really interesting cool maps. But then, according to Stevens, he stumbled on some footprints. The man had white hair down to his knees and a coat of white fur, claw-like fingernails, flaming green eyes. Click here for a detailed report. Advanced. And proceed. The Sasquatch has for decades served as a frontman for the peculiar field of cryptozoology. He has trudged his way enormous step by step in popular folklore, with sightings of the beast surfacing with notable regularity. The creature has made its presence known in various widely separated spots around the globe, yet he pops up among the Himalayas, and ever-popular Bigfoot emerges frequently in the Pacific Northwest. Texas has reported numerous encounters with the aptly named Big Thicket Wildman, yet few know that a member of this brotherhood of hairy hominids makes its home here in Arizona. The Mogollon monster. The reclusive creature is described as being at least 7 feet tall, hairless in the face, but otherwise covered with a thick, long coat of either dark or reddish-brown hair. He travels with wide, inhuman steps, sometimes leaving footprints measuring 21 inches. Often reports elusive beast, involve a piercing, sometimes deafening scream or howl, unlike that produced by any known wildlife. Where is most of the sightings of the Mogollon monster? We'll just switch this back. Here's the experience that I just shared with you from the .gov website there. An even earlier report has surfaced from 1903 edition of the Arizona Republican. In it, a visitor to Arizona by the name of I.W. Stevens recounts his confrontation with what he referred to as a wild man of the rocks. Though his encounter occurred further north within the Grand Canyon, the story may be one of the earliest written records of such a sighting. Stevens described the wild man as having long white hair, a matted beard that reached to his knees. When he approached for a closer look, Stevens saw the creature wore no clothes, and upon his talon-like fingers were claws at least 2 inches long. He also noted that a coat of gray hair nearly covered his body, with here and there spots of dirty skin showing. While this is not a traditional description of the beast we've come to know in recent years, we could perhaps infer that Stevens had run across an elderly Sasquatch, possibly suffering from a touch of mange. Stevens went on to tell how the canyon dweller threatened him with a large club, screamed the wildest, most unearthly screech he had ever heard, after Stevens discovered the beast drinking the blood of 2 young cougars the creature had beaten to death. Wow. Oh, it gets a little better. Here we go. Another tale regularly told secondhand at Boy Scout summer camp involves an Arizona pioneer named Bill Spade. Spade supposedly had built a log cabin on land adjacent to what is now Camp Geronimo, a scout facility. Spade was attacked one night by the monster, who left no trace of his victim, save for Spade's face, which was torn off and left hanging from a tree. The cabin remained for decades afterward, and the Mogollon monster could often be spotted loitering nearby, waiting for a new inhabitant. Other stories making the rounds attempt to explain the origins of the monster, and they vary in detail, but for the most part, tormented Indian bent on revenge. One variant tells of a prehistoric tribe who for untold reasons, exiled their chief. The chief called upon the spirits to transform him into a hirsute boogeyman. He lives on today and continues to defend his territory. This one's cool. I like this one. You guys will like this as well. In other versions, it was the tribe's medicine man who performed the transformation, enabling the chief to seek revenge on a rival who had stolen his wife. Further variations identify the Mogollon monster as a pioneer who was the victim of an Indian attack. He escaped into the woods, but was cursed by the spirits and went insane. A strange amalgamation of stories. The monster is a phantom of a white man who was punished for murdering an Indian woman, was hung from a tree by his hand, stretched to the height of 8 feet, then skinned alive and left to die. Damned by the spirits, his ghost continues to roam the woods as the tragically misnamed Skinwalker. So tragically misnamed Skinwalker. Very cool. And then there's some more modern incarnations, low budget movies and stuff. But this is all from a .gov website. The interior, well, I mean, United States Department of the Interior, Bureau of Land Management. How crazy is that? Yet, these things don't exist. But they paid a shit ton of money to put this on their website. You know, the government doesn't do anything cheaply. We all know that. This website, this little story here, and links probably cost them an arm and a leg. But that's money that could go in their pocket. Why put it on a website? Unless it's a soft disclosure or something to distract us. Oh, it's just a joke. Ha 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 ha. Right? And then as you scroll down, there's some other encounters. And there's actually something about Devil Lake, North Dakota. And for those of you who remember Devil's Lake, North Dakota, there was an encounter that I shared probably 6-7 months ago out of that area. Guys, to me, this is proof that, first and foremost, the government knows what's out there. They're hiding it from us in plain sight. Really, all you have to do to check this website out is Bureau of Land Management, Cryptids. Type that into Google, and this will pop up for you. And it blew me away. I was like, my God, this is absolutely insane. So cool, though. And a subscriber shared that with me today. So, with that, I want to share with you a very amazing video clip that was taken from a train car in the Southwest somewhere. Very, very interesting video. It's a short video, but it's interesting all the same. I tried to increase the size of the video without damaging any of the pixelation, which I did do successfully, but you guys are going to have to check this out for yourself and decide for yourself. Let's get into that. All right, guys. So you see this creature. You're on a train. You're on a train and you're just kind of looking at the landscape and you see this creature and you follow it. You can see the camera pan, but then it kind of like sits down and you can see that if that's a costume and they're in that area, they're very hot. But I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, this video to me is pretty realistic. I'm not going to say 100% if I believe it or not, but it really does look realistic. Anyway, with that being said, I've got some pretty cool encounters to share with you now. Let's jump into those. Today's first encounter. Hello everyone. I have sat on this for quite some time because my friends and I still cannot decide what we heard, and it is still confusing to this day. Two of my buddies and I were out hunting in southwest Idaho. We were less than a half a mile from the Oregon border in the Owyhee Mountains. For those of you who have never seen southwest Idaho or East Oregon, it is high desert. So, mostly dead grass, sagebrush in the area. No trees to speak of. Our plan was to head over after work on a Friday, stay the night to hunt in the morning. And it was kind of my bachelor trip. We had done some early drives out there before season to scout and check migration patterns and figured staying the night out there would be the best, catching this herd waking up to move. We had a late start because my friends got off a little later and we took a bit to get together and packed. In any case, we got there after sundown, about 7:30, 7:45 local time, so we had to find a place to pull off in the dark. Eventually, we found a somewhat suitable spot near a stream that seemed decent for the night. We didn't have a fire or anything, so we just had a couple of swigs of Jaeger to celebrate my upcoming marriage, and we were talking about our plans for the next day. Who goes where and where will glass, etc. Sometime in the middle of that conversation, probably only an hour or so being parked, there was this very odd sound. We all stopped and listened and heard it again. It sounded like nothing I had ever heard before. It was a deep and almost nasally sounding mee-ha that got deeper and almost distorted as it went and dragged on for a couple of seconds. It was the same sound as what made us stop, and it was followed by pure silence for what seemed like 10 minutes. We had no firelight and very little moonlight, so it was near blackout conditions out there. We all had pistols on us and hunting rifles in the truck, but did not feel comfortable at that time. What finally broke the silence was what I can only write off as a frog, but it sounded exactly like one of those wood frog instruments being scraped at varying speeds. This was coming from one spot on the other side of the creek, almost exactly opposite from where the first noise was. We decided at that point that it wasn't worth staying up to drink, so we got in the tent and went to bed. And once the frog sound stopped a few minutes later, it was silent for the rest of the night. As we have talked about it for the past year or so, we've had a couple of theories. At first we thought it could have been a cow, but the weekend before and the next day we did not see any cattle. About a month before, there were free-roaming cattle that I assume were moved out because this area is hunted pretty frequently, and the day we hunted was opening day. Also, it was close, maybe 30 yards. If it was a cow, it would have been way louder. The wood frog sound, I thought, could have actually been a frog, but in all of my life in the surrounding areas, I have only heard one frog sounding off, and never one that sounded like this, or one that was inconsistent like this. My initial thought was someone was out there messing with us, but they would have had to hike a long way with no light because it was a decent-sized flat area where we were at. We listened to audio of just about every odd deer or coyote sound and nothing matched. If anyone has any ideas, please let us know. Today's second encounter. This was back in February of 2007 in rural Indiana. I worked overnight at a warehouse. We had gotten off of work a little earlier, and I was following a coworker down the road. I noticed he had swerved off to the right side of the road and swerved back on the road and kept going. I assumed that he wasn't paying attention or something ran out in front of him, but as I got closer, I could see a very tall black shape walking in the middle of the roadway. I had to swerve, but I basically came to a full-on stop as this thing walked next to my driver's side window. I never saw a head on it, and I didn't even see any arms. It looked like a large person wrapped in a black blanket or cloak. Its movements, when I first saw it in the headlights, was not like any sort of person or animal that I could recognize. I relate it to flapping in the wind, like those blow-up, air wacky flapping arms, man, you see out in front of stores and car dealerships sometime. It was taking a step and flailing its torso around, then a step and another flapping around, very unnatural movements. When it walked by my vehicle, it was considerably taller than my Explorer. It was leaning forward like a person who used a walker would even lean. It was still a foot or so taller than my Explorer. My Explorer is 67 inches according to Google, so this would have made it at least 7 feet tall leaning forward. It had two very thick legs and a very thick torso, but I didn't see any hair, any clothing, nothing but solid black or dark brown. I couldn't make out any details other than that. When a red tail light lit up as it was behind the vehicle, I could see between both of its legs, but the legs were solid, so not translucent, as it blocked out the lights. So it had to have been solid. Anyway, I drove off down the road and saw my coworker was pulled off into a gravel parking lot. I pulled up next to him, and he was asking if I saw it, and how it didn't have a head. I said I was going back to look for whatever it was because obviously it's something strange. We ended up heading back the way we came, and I was in front, and as we got back to the same general area, I saw a large black dog lying in the middle of the road. Now, for a dog, it was a lot bigger than any normal dog I had ever seen, but it's just lying in the road and it looked dead. So the first thing I assume is that is what was walking in the road. Maybe it had gotten hit by a car and was flopping around. It looked like a large black German Shepherd type dog, but it was really thick, puffy fur like a chow dog has. I get out to go and see what it was, and the dog raises its head and looks up and looks back at me and growls. A really low rumbling growl. Its eyes are reflecting the headlights, so it looks as if they are glowing a yellow. I stopped about 15 feet away from this creature as it starts to try and stand up, but it sort of hobbles a bit, then stands up directly on its back legs and looks at me, standing up just like a person, not how a normal dog would appear to be standing up, but how a person normally would. It had to have been 6 feet tall. I'm 6'3", and it was almost my height, I'd guess. It stood there for just a second or two, got down on all fours and ran off the road to the trees, but I never actually saw it using its front legs. It had ears on top of its head, a normal dog-looking face. It didn't have your stereotypical hands like a werewolf or other Dogman depictions. It had all the features of being just a very tall black dog that could stand on its back legs. It was not a bear, I can tell the difference. Bears also do not have pointed dog-like ears. We also don't have bear in Indiana, supposedly, but we also don't have upright walking canines either. In the area it ran to is a deer preserve, and it had about an 8 to 9 foot fence that goes around the whole area. I don't know where it went, but it disappeared once it got out of the headlights. By this point, my coworker gets out of his car and I walk back towards him. We are both like, what the F is going on? I happen to glance down, and standing between us is a normal-looking field mouse. It's also on its hind legs, using its front legs to clean itself. It looks all wet, but it hasn't been raining outside, so I wasn't sure how it was wet other than cleaning itself. I tried nudging it with my shoe and it didn't care. It just stayed there wiping itself. We leave, I get home and look up weird walking dogs. I drew a picture and shared it with someone, and someone said I must have come across the Michigan Dogman. Hell, I'd never heard of that before. I knew werewolves and stuff from movies, but never from a dogman. I went back to work a few nights later and tried to tell my coworkers about what I found. The rest of everyone started laughing at me. My coworker that was with me that night got pissed and basically threatens me to shut up or he'll deny it even happened. So I stopped talking about it and never really told anyone else for almost 15 years. I told my wife and a couple close friends, but I don't even think they believe it. Hell, I have a hard time struggling to believe it. Logical reasoning would say it was a hurt dog and it was playing with a mouse that got hit by a car, broke its front legs, and was hobbling around because it couldn't use them. That's why the mouse was wet and traumatized, because the dog was messing with it. That's all fine and dandy. And I've accepted that for many years, except whatever that first thing walking in the road was so much bigger than that dog man. I could explain everything else away except that. Okay, quick update on the Border Patrol agent. He listened to the podcast yesterday and read some of the comments. Now, he is 100% not saying, or saying it wasn't the government, it was the cartel, it was the government, it was the cartel, it wasn't the government, whatever. And I never said that either. What I said was he feels like it could have been. Okay? He read a comment where someone said, how would the cartel know it was him? Or this and that. And he did say that a couple of the people that were in the river ended up going back to across the river to the Mexican side. He doesn't know. These are theories that he is sharing and things that he has gone through himself and heard. He honestly, there was a couple of comments that he just really was actually a little pissed about, because this is something that he lived through and lost two of his good friends. And then said, he said, Jeff, I thought this was a no judgment channel. If I wanted judgment, I would have posted it somewhere else. And I said, I'll address it. I apologize. I know that the majority of the subs would never, judge you or critique you on what your opinions are. So, this is a non-judgmental channel. If you have judgment and you want to say your judgment, don't leave your comment. Don't listen at all. I don't need you here. I don't want you here. No one else does either. This is a non-judgment channel. I don't judge people. I don't want people judged. People come here to share. Also, I'm going to be interviewing our friend Brad, who appeared on Vic Cundiff's channel a while back. He's appeared on this channel twice, shared his experience about the angelic being. Truly an amazing experience. With that, I'm going to sign off for the day. I hope you guys enjoyed today's upload as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. Guys, thank you for supporting this channel. Your support is truly what makes this channel so special and what makes it continue to grow and go. Please stay safe, happy, healthy, and ever vigilant, keeping an eye on your children, the world's most precious commodity we have, pets, family, and friends. Share a little bit of the information that we share here on a daily basis with each other, and it may save someone that you care and love God bless you all and have a wonderful rest of your day.